Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Central Machinery 1-inch by 30-inch benchtop belt sander. So my buddy has one of these and I've used it in one of my other videos. He was actually in one of the videos using it as well. I've loved this product and I've looked around for a used one quite a bit, and avast I was unable to find one. So my wife actually had, as a kind of part 2 for the anniversary gift for a 10-year anniversary, bought me this one. They retail on sale right now currently for $44.99, so $45. And it is a phenomenal little machine and I'm super excited because this is going to help with a lot of the future projects for my little blacksmithing forge that I just got as well. And that's actually one of the things we're going to be grinding on, is one of the tools that I was kind of forging out and playing around with making as well. So let's get to unboxing. Greeted with some plastic first off, as well as a little adjustment tool with a spring on it. We'll see what that goes to here in a quick sec. We got the user manual. So looking over the user manual, we have all the basic safety tips. One of the things that I do like that a lot of Central Machinery does is they have a recommended wire gauge for extension cords for the 120 volt system as far as what you would hook this up to. So if you have 0 to 6 amps, then it would be the extension cord length would be 25 foot. You can get away with an 18 gauge, 50 foot, 16 gauge, 100 foot, 16 gauge, 150. You want to drop it down to a 14 gauge. If you are working with 6.1 or 10 inch or 10 amps, then that would be for a 20 foot extension cord. You can get away with 18. 16 gauge if you go with 50, 14, so on and so forth. It is suggested to not use any extension cord over 100 feet, or actually over 50 feet if you're working off of a 12.1 amp or 16 amp system. Make sure you have a grounding pin and fully grounded system for it. Basic safety on that one. General setup, it shows a little diagram here for the spark guard, sanding belt, tracking knob. So this is, looks like, that's not look like the tracking knob. Locking handle. So this will be the locking handle that we'll have to install, table, switch, and of course that locking handle there. Electrical rating is 120 volt, 60 hertz, 2.3 amps. Belt speed is a constant 3500 RPM or SFPM. The dust port OD on this is 1 by 3/4 OD inch. Alright, so it looks like we have to take off the side cover, which is just a single little knob that comes off my hand. That'll come off on the side. Then we will install the toothed washers, flat washer, locking handle, so on and so forth, and give us just a general breakdown of the item. Same general breakdown, and then roughly how to set and place the table so that way it doesn't interfere or cut into it. General operating, make sure to unplug it whenever changing belts. And then it gives a full breakdown of what everything is called and each one of the components that make up the entire item, which is awesome. So if you have any plans down the road to swap out the motor in this for something that goes a little bit slower, that seems to be one of the common modifications that a lot of people like to do with this, is make a slower belt for what they're working on. Alright, there you go. So looking inside the box here, we got the plate, and then the whole unit. Nothing else in the box. And I'll double check that. Nope. Nothing else in the box. As per usual, I like to hold on to the box and its contents for about 1 week of use. That way if anything arises and I have to do a return, it just makes it a lot more painless to make sure everything goes back where it's supposed to. And there you have the unit. Pretty nice, straightforward, comes with a singular belt attached already. Nice little dust cover. It does have little like anti-vibration on the actual little cover here. One of the other modifications that I was reading about and seeing a few people do is that since this is metal in the bottom here, is they'll put a little magnet just down here, so that way it catches a lot of your steel or metal or whatever you're working with. If it's metal rather, it'll just get put right onto that magnet. One of the things that was suggested to me is, of course, you can move this to kind of adjust tracking on the actual back wheel here, but kind of giving it a few general spins so that way if you do end up turning it on, you can see if it's going to immediately track and come flying off or do damage to itself, which seems to be staying pretty well center. Not seeing any trailing or problems there. Although my plate in the back here does look slightly turned. It doesn't come with an Allen key set, but I think I might have one. It was just a little off. I'm guessing that's probably just from shipping. There we go. Suggested to keep it about a 1/16 from the back of the actual belt itself. I'll have to look and see. There is an additional mounting. It doesn't look like it. That's just for a balancer. So this little knob is going to be the only thing we really need to install. So looking on it here. Alright, there is an installed kind of groove spot here for this bolt, it looks like, to hook into. So that'll stay nice and secure there. With the bolt protruding through the frame and the hex head of the bolt engaged in the hex pocket of the frame, install one tooth washer onto the bolt. So we got 2 toothed washers. Install table. Alright. Making sure the bolt protrudes through the slot on the underside of the table. Install the toothed washer and 1 flat washer. Alright, so approximately they say to keep it about a 1/16 away, but it's kind of touching a little. Just it out a little bit. Alright. Seems to be everything. We'll leave that cover off for a second to see if I get travel. Oh yeah, we'll be safe about this in case it does decide to fly off at all. Alright. Looks like it required just the tiniest little bit of adjustment so that way it would not fly off. So now I can install this part back on. There you go. It's supposed to go on the inside. Outside. Yeah, outside. There you go. Start recording. So the item I will be sanding in question is the little guide that I had forged yesterday. So let's set it up and start grinding this guide to what I need it to be. So it is definitely crude, but for my first thing that I kind of forged out and had a purpose for it, I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. I'll probably go through with the wire wheel and take out the rust that remains on the inside of this rebar here and make it a little bit more of a predominant handle. But this tool is going to be kind of like a drift or a little tool that I'm going to hold on. I kind of let there be an angle on it. Let's see if I can get it to focus on that. Kind of let there be a little bit of a slant on it. My intention, I don't know if this is going to work as well, is going to be for when I'm holding it flat on an object, kind of angled back from me. Gives me a little bit of distance from what I'm forging, so that way I can hit this end with a hammer. So we're going to see if this is going to be the right size or a little too small, but I wanted to get a little bit of distance from what I was working on, and I didn't want to use my wood chisels and damage those, and I kind of wanted the idea of something that I had forged, making something else that will be forged as well in the next video. So there you have it. It's got a little chisel tip. I didn't want it to be super drastic, but I needed this to move some material and kind of make some decorative work. So that is going to be its intended purpose for that bit there. Alrighty, so first little tool kind of played around with and forged, as well as first tool used to get nice and shiny with the sander. The thing works phenomenal, and I am super stoked about it. Like I said, this is one belt that comes with it, but I'll be picking up probably a package of belts in the near future. I'll see what Harbor Freight has to offer. Otherwise, I might end up doing the good old Amazon purchase for these guys in kind of a pack of belts. The ones I looked at on Amazon are around 15 bucks. I'll kind of see what they have to offer at Harbor Freight, if there's much or not. I know that if I want to do the leather belt setup with this down the road, that I'm going to have to purchase that online from what I've kind of gleaned and looked around on. They're kind of hit or miss on what they have available at Harbor Freight, so I'll take a gander the next time I'm in there, which probably isn't going to be too far away. Other than that, I like it. It's doing everything that it's going to need to do for my purposes for it. I didn't get a chance to try out the dust port on it. Imagine it works pretty good for wood projects. I'm not so sure about metal projects. I'll probably do that little hack or mod that I've seen a few people do where they put a magnet on the inside and just kind of clean that regularly. The cover on the outside did keep a lot at bay, but there is a larger kind of opening on the bottom here, roughly around 1.5 inches or so on the bottom underneath the actual table itself, so that kind of lets a lot of metal shavings kind of come out and into the air. Alrighty, so that is everything that comes in the box. Is pretty much just the little sander with the belt. Once everything is assembled, there's no real leftover remnant or extras of any kind. You have your manual, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be a nice little workhorse, and it'll fit nicely into any little confinement or spine space I can find to kind of stash this away. One of the other benefits to it is that you can flip it over and set it on its side as well. If you're going to be sanding, it'll be going away from you. In this position, you can take the table off if you need to have more of a free hand, kind of just cleaning something up as well. And yeah, I like that you don't really need any tools to change anything out as far as the belt is concerned. If you do need additional play or movement, you can kind of clean up or drill out this side here. This new model of it versus the OG green ones seems to kind of fix that a little bit, so you don't necessarily need that extra adjustment from what I've kind of gleaned so far. If I have anything down the road that I end up needing to modify in this, I'll make another additional video for it. But otherwise, little guy seems to be a champ and just work as is. Thank you all so very much for watching, kind of getting an additional little look at what the new model looks like versus the old for the most part, as far as just kind of seeing what it is. I don't have the old model with me. Down the road I can do kind of a comparison. There isn't too much that's really changed. Good old Central Machinery kind of makes a few little modifications, but otherwise if they have something that works as a good solid project or product, they're not going to reinvent the wheel and do too much to change it. They'll use other brands like Bauer and contracts with them to kind of have elaborations or changes on the reinventing the wheel on their end for their main product, if you will. So thank you all so very much. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you enjoyed this content, want to see more or see what other things I get up to with this project down the road, please hit the subscribe button. I am going to be getting a little bit more into blacksmithing, kind of going into those for a little bit. A few tools to help along the way, things that I'll make, play around with. Hopefully this isn't going to be the last tool for a while. This is going to be the start to a few things I'm going to forge out and kind of play around with. So if you enjoy that content, want to see somebody that has knowledge on it but has never actually put any of that knowledge to work and seeing how that kind of works out for me, feel free to hit that bell notification so that way you get notifications each and every time I upload content moving forward. So thank you all so very much and have yourself a wonderful evening.